Hello and welcome to another marvelous video. I'm your host Will. In the world of fighting games, we are introduced to several rosters of interesting and iconic characters. None so more iconic than the characters from the Mortal Kombat franchise. And in this video, we're going to talk about the top 10 iconic female warriors from the Mortal Kombat universe. Let's get to it. Mortal Kombat has given us gods, monsters, ninjas, and absolute psychopaths, but their female characters are built different. The women of this franchise have been carrying some of the most powerful storylines, emotional arcs, and jaw-dropping moments for decades. Whether it is Kitana's Royal Rebellion, Mileena's chaotic madness, Kronika controlling time itself, or the strength of a military commander, these characters are unforgettable in every possible way. And there are so many more who have left their impression on the franchise. So today, let's talk about 10 such incredible female characters from the Mortal Kombat universe. Let's get to it. Kitana. Of course we're beginning with her. She literally has one of the most dramatic origin stories in the entire Mortal Kombat franchise. She is an actual princess from the realm of Edenia, which was annexed by Shao Kahn. But here's the cruel part. She lives as Shao Kahn's adopted daughter and even serves as his loyal assassin without having any clue about her real truth, because Kahn hid the truth of her Edenian heritage from her and raised her as his own daughter. But eventually, she learns about her true lineage as the daughter of Queen Sindel and King Jade of Edenia, and how her adoptive father is supposed to be her sworn enemy. Upon facing this betrayal, she knew there was no going back, and turned against him in the classic timelines. She's a character with more than 10,000 years of history, so her character development throughout the Mortal Kombat universe is so layered and fascinating. Since Mortal Kombat 2, 1993, she's been Liu Kang's love interest and an important Earthrealm ally, and by MK11, she literally becomes the Khan of Outworld herself. This is what you call an insane glow-up. And for the best part, she also gets a major live-action spotlight in the Mortal Kombat 2 film, played by Adeline Rudolph, bringing her iconic Steel War fans to the big screen. She is an icon for the way she throws, slices, and levitates her opponents in mid-air. How can we forget her signature finishers like the Royal Blender, the Last Kiss, and Royal Nectar? By using Royal Blender, she hurls her steel fans into a deadly vortex that shreds her opponents into bloody pieces. Then, with Last Kiss, she delivers a lethal kiss that destroys her opponent in one of the most savage ways possible. And lastly, Royal Nectar. Her animality finisher transforms her into a hummingbird, aggressively pecking into her opponent's chest until their body looks like a wilted flower. Also, with her fan-based tornado-style attacks, she can shred her enemies into ribbons by summoning a storm of razor-sharp fans. Man, the way she pulls this off effortlessly is just so awesome and deadly. Hands down, she has got some of the best moves and is the OG baddie. Now you understand, right? Why she's one of the coolest female characters in the Mortal Kombat universe. Kronika. Coming to Kronika, trust me, she can be a villain, but she is also every baddie's dream girl. This woman is a literal cosmic titan, and I mean, she is a god above gods, who is also known as the Keeper of Time itself. She is the mastermind who manipulated and reset timelines across MK11's story. Kronika is the epitome of a god complex. She orchestrates wars, bends reality, resets timelines, and can even summon past and future versions of fighters because she believes that is how the perfect balance of good and evil is done. We get you, Queen. You have the dictator mentality. Look, she isn't evil for evil's sake. To be honest, the way she believes she is right every time makes her even scarier. From the very beginning of her entry in Mortal Kombat 11, 2019, she served badass energy by being the main villain and the first female final boss in the franchise's history. And after all I said, I know that's not surprising. Her powers are absolutely next level, and no one can even come close to that. As for her boss-style fighting sequence, even that's unhinged. She tears her opponent in half at the waist, then rewinds time to restore them, then splits them vertically and, pause for dramatic effect, it does not end there. She then peels off their skin and loops back time to repeat the process. That is literally diabolical. I bet she enjoys her powers the most. Sonya Blade. Sonya is the original girl boss of Mortal Kombat. If you ask why, it's because she was the only female fighter in the entire first game from 1992. Her backstory is more grounded if you compare it to the others. She is a special forces officer with pure military training, strict discipline, and unmatched willpower. She chased her arch-enemy Kano to Shang Tsung's island, where she was forced to enter a tournament. And believe you me, she is no joke. Even if she doesn't carry royal blood or come from any magical realm, she fights with elite military training, acrobatics, gadgets, and her signature energy ring attacks. She is heavily skilled in acrobatics and performs lethal moves like the iconic leg grab, launching aerial attacks, and using her signature pink energy rings and fire kiss. For her fatality, supply drop in MK11, she breaks her opponent's arms, bashes their head, and then calls in a heavy turret that crushes half of their body before she finally shoots through their head and ends them. She is a military baddie through and through. Sonya has been a franchise staple who has appeared in almost every major era of the games. By MK11, she becomes a general in the Special Forces. It gives peak career goals kind of energy. Even her dynamic with Johnny Cage is honestly one of the funniest and most human relationships in the series, because they fell for each other, got married, had Cassie, then got divorced, and even went through a very awkward co-parenting stage. Somehow, it is oddly relatable and normal for a franchise where people rip out each other's spines. She sacrificed her life by detonating explosives inside Shinnok's Bone Temple to protect Earthrealm and stop the Netherrealm threat. I think her death is one of the most underrated heroic exits in the franchise, and it deserved way more flowers than it received. Her character was played by Jessica McNamee in the 2021 film and again in the 2026 film. For me, she is an icon because she brought military grit into a world of gods and monsters. D'Vorah. D'Vorah might be the most unsettling character in the whole roster, and I am genuinely saying this for a franchise built on gore. She is a chitin, a species of colonial insects from Arniac Island and Outworld that can inhabit a humanoid body. So the humanoid form she displays is not her true body. Indeed, she is formed from thousands of bugs that have infested, consumed, and now inhabit a host body. Her loyalty is also transactional, because she would only protect those who protect the hive. That is why she eventually betrays major powers when it serves her survival, including Kotal Khan and Shinnok, while later aligning herself with Kronika when it serves the hive. To be honest, she is responsible for some of the franchise's most jaw-dropping betrayal moments. And given that she was a newbie who entered the universe in Mortal Kombat 10, 2015, and returned in Mortal Kombat 11, she brutally killed some of the most beloved characters like Baraka, Mileena, and Scorpion. And to twist the knife even further, she killed Mileena in the most disturbing way possible. She kissed her and fed her flesh-eating insects that devoured her face from the inside. God, to this date I am still recovering from the trauma. Even her fighting style is weirdly all about insect-based attacks, like stingers, pincers, swarms, and egg implantation. And if you think that's bad, her mid-match mechanic in MK11 gets worse, because if she gets knocked out once during a fight, her body can tear apart like a molt, and she continues the fight through a bug-like form with its own separate health bar. But wait, there's more! With her new species fatality, she lays eggs inside her opponent's body, and then giant spider-like legs tear through their chest while their skull splits open from within. She is literally worse than a hellish nightmare. Her body horror biology makes her feel harder to put down than a normal warrior, and let me tell you, it's more horrifying than it sounds. Mileena. Mileena knows how to serve that chaotic evil twin energy that I did not know I needed. She was originally created as a clone of Kitana by the sorcerer Shang Tsung. Her DNA was mixed with Tarkatan DNA, which gave her Kitana's grace and a mouth full of absolutely feral razor teeth that she hid behind a mask. Though in the MK1 2023 reboot timeline, her role was reimagined as Kitana's own biological twin sister. I personally love her more in this timeline because the sisters' bond feels more precious. Even her her story arc gets more emotional and tragic because she gets infected by Tarkat, which slowly transforms her into a feral monster. She hides it as much as possible by using a serum since it could threaten her claim to the throne. Though in the original timeline, she was the first major female villain introduced in the franchise. This woman has a reputation that does not get the hype it deserves, but I love how there is a wild contrast between her beauty and monstrousness. The way she stabs and slashes her opponents with her twin sai, lands those teleport kicks, and moves with blinding speed is so sick. And this sassy queen devours her opponent and spits out their bones absolutely clean. Girl directly jumps into cannibalism in the name of a fatality. Nobody can match her freak, and that's why she's legendary.
Whoa, little help here!
Jade. I think Jade has one of the most quietly compelling arcs in the franchise. Her story began with her being Kitana's childhood friend and a fellow assassin under Shao Kahn. She trained and fought alongside Kitana, but unlike Kitana, Jade's defining conflict was not a hidden royal identity, but loyalty. Shao Kahn's orders on one side, and her friendship with Kitana on the other. And man, I admire her so much for choosing her friendship with Kitana over the Outworld Empire. Everyone deserves a friend like Jade in their lives, because if that isn't bestie goals, I don't know what is. Her appearance in Mortal Kombat 2 was as a hidden opponent, but she became fully playable from Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. In the 2026 Mortal Kombat 2 film, she finally got a proper live-action showcase, played by Tati Gabrielle, and she looks incredible. Well, she is an Edenian just like Kitana, and fights with a razor-edge bow staff and boomerangs. Her most unique feature is the shadow ability that makes her immune to projectiles in gameplay. My girl here operates with clean precision whenever she uses her fatality, half-mast, to impale her opponent on her staff and split them cleanly in half. Jade has always been so criminally underrated that only the real MK fans understand just how cool she actually is. Sindel. Sindel's story was already deeply traumatic, but somehow MK11 gave her character a much darker turn. She was once framed as the tragic queen of Edenia, who killed herself so that Shao Kahn could not use her as a weapon, with her soul meant to protect Earthrealm. Her story was full of pain and sacrifice, yet very heroic. But then MK11 and Aftermath happened, and her entire arc was turned upside down. In this version, she willingly sided with Shao Kahn, and worst of all, she killed her husband Jade, while her suicide was shown to be staged by Quan Chi. Overnight, she transformed from a tragic hero into a cold-blooded villain. To be honest, I'm still conflicted about whether it added more complexity to her character or just erased everything that made her story compelling. Still, no matter which version of Sindel you prefer, one thing is clear. Her powers were always immaculate, because you would be dumbfounded to see her weaponize her scream. You see that most brutally in MK11 Aftermath, where she helps wipe out a huge number of Earthrealm's strongest fighters during one of the most shocking massacre scenes in the franchise. It was like she gave a reminder to everyone not to underestimate her calm and composed demeanor. And her fatality's brutal too. It's called Hair Today, Gone Tomorrow, and to execute it, she shoots her hair into her opponent's mouth, which rips out from their chest and interweaves into various areas of their body. Then she pulls it to disconnect their limbs and somehow even skins their torso. This shows how she carried herself with elegance, but beneath that regal composure lay her actual brutality, and that is what makes her the ultimate queen. Sheeva. Now, Sheeva is literally built differently. She is a Shokan, which is an ancient race of half-human, half-dragon warriors from Outworld. She has 4 arms, reptilian eyes, dragon scales, and superhuman strength. Her fighting style is all about close-range tactics. The forearm grab combos, ground-shaking stomps, and her signature full-screen stomp are absolutely insane to watch. Even her name appears to echo Sheeva from Hindu mythology. But in Mortal Kombat, Sheeva is defined mainly by her Shokan heritage, her royal warrior status, and her brutal 4-armed fighting style. That explains the stripped down fatality, which she used to rip her opponent's skin completely clean by using her 4 arms simultaneously. She needs no weapons. Her hands inflict more damage than one can withstand. Anyways, her story began when she was handpicked by Shao Kahn to be Queen Sindel's personal bodyguard. But her drama kicks in when Kahn appoints Motaro, a Centaurian and basically one of the Shokan's sworn enemies, as head of his extermination squads instead of her. She She debuted in Mortal Kombat 3, 1995, but her real game plan became even more interesting in the MK11 Aftermath expansion. She became queen of the Shokan, made political decisions, formed alliances with Earthrealm, and navigated war on multiple fronts. She truly became a great leader. She even appeared in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, 1997, played by Margene Holden, but they did her dirty because most of her parts were heavily cut and she basically just got a cage dropped on her, which isn't something she deserved at all, because she's not just defined by her brute strength, she's a damn good warrior, a queen, and one of the fiercest Shokan in MK history, so you all better show her some respect. Cyrax. Cyrax is one of the most fascinating characters in Mortal Kombat lore because the character goes through a whole new transformation in Liu Kang's new era. In MK1's Chaos Reigns era, we get a completely redefined version of Cyrax who is no longer the classic male cyborg fully stripped of his humanity. Here, Cyrax is reimagined as a brilliant young woman connected to the Lin Kuei Zaki subclan and trained as a prodigy in martial arts. She fights while wearing a highly advanced yellow-colored technological exoskeleton, but she's still human under that suit, which enhances her natural agility and helps her carry her iconic arsenal, including energy nets and high-tech bombs. Also, with her signature teleport move, she can automatically drop an explosive bomb in the exact spot she just left. And of course, I cannot forget the classic self-destruct fatality associated with Cyrax's legacy. Cyrax can activate a bomb and take the opponent out in one massive explosion. It's understandable why the self-destruct concept is ranked among the greatest MK fatalities. She's already a super skilled badass fighter, but along with the suit, she becomes one of the most dangerous tech-based fighters in Liu Kang's new era. And the best thing is, in Chaos Reigns, she earns her place among the heroes by using her own conscience and not just relying on a suit. When Scorpion invites her to join the Shirai Ryu, she is able to reconnect with her childhood friend again and make sure the high-tech suit remains a tool that she controls, not the other way around. By joining them, she even finds a new purpose to honorably protect Earthrealm. Cyrax is a character legacy that has gone through multiple tragedies across Mortal Kombat history, but when this new version finally gets another chance, she uses it in the best way possible, and that is exactly why I admire her the most. Cassie Cage. Alright, let me tell you. Cassie Cage walked so the next generation could run. Remember Sonya Blade and Johnny Cage I mentioned earlier? Yep, she's their daughter. And she got some real premium benefits for being their daughter. She inherited her father's ancient Cage bloodline powers to literally fight gods, and her mother's special forces discipline. That is a freaking unhinged combination. She grew up in LA, surrounded by her dad's celebrity culture and her mother's military world. That combination made Cassie into an absolute menace who would snap your spine while cracking a joke. Now, when you're a Nepo baby, there's more pressure on your shoulders to prove yourself as a perfectly capable warrior outside your parents' shadow, especially when your parents are basically two of Earthrealm's greatest warriors. And she actually did it by appearing in Mortal Kombat X as one of the main heroes in the story mode and defeating Shinnok, who was a corrupted elder god. And guess what? She had risen into a command role within the special forces. Her powers make her one of Earthrealm's most surprising god-level threats when her inherited Cage energy awakens, and that includes her incorporating military combat alongside her inherited glowing green energy. And the most it-girl thing about her is her selfie fatality. She knocks her opponent's jaw loose, snaps a photo with her mangled corpse, posts it to a fake social media page, and even takes her time to scroll through the comments from other fighters. Jeez, that's dark. But it's also the most unhinged, funniest thing I have seen, and I love how nonchalantly she does it all. I don't know about you, but she's the GOAT. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. Let us know in the comments below who your favorite female character from the Mortal Kombat universe is. But before leaving, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Till next time.